Hey everyone, welcome to Cozy in the Mediaverse. I'm Michael,
And I'm Brian.
and may the 4th be with you.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you, Michael.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I feel very, one with the Force, as, the Jedi might say.
As they used to say.
They
Some might say.
R.I.P.
Mm.
You know what's really funny? When they did Order 66 back, with episode 5 I'm so stupid. Episode 3
Kill him.
in 2005.
Pew, pew.
Sorry. They talk about it's supposed to be like the extinction of the Jedi outside of 2 to 3 people. Like Luke Skywalker is supposed to be one of the last Force user Jedi people. And then
to the people that are aware of the Jedi code and
yes,
know, what came from whatever, because there are all these people who might not even know that they're Jedi at this point.
It should be so rare, yet with more things coming out over the years, now there are a trillion Jedis that survived. Like you got Ahsoka, you have Cal, you have the Ezra and Kaden, what's his name? Kanan Jarrus. Like people from Rebels. And it's like, I don't know.
And Cal from the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's so many that it's like, okay, we get it. There's enough.
Well, I feel like that's the thing. I disagree with you on that in the sense that there's the Jedi Order is the thing that's really the more spotlight of. There are less of people who are literally considered Jedi in their heads.
Yeah.
But the whole cool thing about the concept is there are a lot of people who might be Jedi that just don't know, and since they're not going to be getting those lessons or teachings, they might not ever know, right?
Well,
and
yeah.
A part of the newer movies with the little kid who force wields the broom to him, right? Which
don't even get me started.
We can go back and forth on that. In my idea, it's cool to have that opportunity out there, and of course, we're gonna be the fly on the wall in the movies that focus on the Jedi. But it is nice when we get to some products that we've been seeing of Star Wars lately, where there's no Jedi whatsoever. It's more the people, right? Like Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm starting out this podcast pretty crazy with a hot take. This might actually turn some people off immediately, but I just have to say it.
Just do it.
I've been a Star Wars fan my entire life. I love Star Wars to death. I really only care about space wizards with lightsabers. When they start bringing in like don't get me wrong, Rogue One is one of my favorite movies out of the Star Wars, and I'll get into my ranking of the Star Wars movies and everything. Andor, also great. Like, don't get me wrong, these are awesome projects. But when people were like, let's step away from the Force and the Jedi and the Sith, and let's just focus on people living in the world. Like me, I go, no. Give me space wizards.
That is a hot take,
Force choking, throwing things with their minds.
Hey, yeah.
Shut up. I don't know. That's what makes Star Wars for me. When there's granted, you have all the other things like the droids, the worlds, the alien species. I love all of these aspects of Star Wars. I do just really like space wizards with lightsabers.
I definitely get that. I mean, yeah, that's one of the most appealing parts of Star Wars, like the space wizards with the light sword.
Some people
right?
disagree.
I also really enjoy other things I've seen from Star Wars, not just the media, but I fucking love bounty hunters. So now you're telling me you have Mandalorians and other cool bounty hunter stories, and space as a concept is so freaking awesome, and they've created this whole world that exists past what we're seeing.
Yeah.
So there's so much potential for a space heist movie of Star Wars. And sure, I get what you're saying. At that point, why not just make a space story out of that world, and it can just be just as good as this? But it is easier for people to understand.
For sure, and anytime
things.
you attach Star Wars to a franchise, it will get followers and viewers and money.
And so it makes it easier that way, because how many people are going to watch a space heist with characters they don't know? I would. I'd be there day one, right? You would too. But to get everyone's more attention, if you're having a space heist that's involved in the world of Star Wars and people feel this familiarity or this nostalgia, they'll lean more towards it. I don't think that that is good. I would like to see more stuff that isn't just the Star Wars world, like in space.
Yeah.
The same thing goes with Star Trek and all that.
Sure.
But when we're in the Star Wars world, I'm more than okay with getting these side characters that have no force whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
It's not bad. And now that you mentioned, obviously, The Mandalorian and Mandalorian season 1 and 2, I absolutely loved. But I do find that when it revolves closer to the Jedi, because there's one season 2 episode where Ahsoka's there, and I go, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
I miss the lightsabers. I miss when a lightsaber like sparks and then you get the glow, like the hum.
You know, you're getting a fight scene too.
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. Like that, every version of what we're talking about, whether there are directly space wizards or not, they are mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like in Rogue one of my most favorite scenes from the movie is that ending scene where Darth Vader comes out and it's like legit a horror movie.
Yeah.
And they're trying to run away to pass
iconic.
this thing that they need to give. And it's like you feel that, right? Where in the first movies you saw that. It was something, but it wasn't as impactful as Rogue One did it.
Sure, yeah.
But that was a whole movie besides that revolved some Force ideals, but not really, right? We have one character who has the Force and has never really studied the Jedi way, but is using his powers to
the monk
around.
through the blind.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that he's one of my favorite characters from the movie.
Fair.
I love the movie as a whole, and I actually really like everything from it. I do find him the most interesting because I'm like, I don't know. It is my most basic take when it comes to media, where it's like Star Wars is many things to many people, and it has the potential to tell really complex and interesting stories, like with Andor and everything like that. And then I go, nah, space wizards fighting.
Trust me, I love a good space wizard fighting too. But,
yeah, that's why I want more High Republic stuff, like thousands of years in the past.
Sure.
Where like there's a ton of Jedi, and I know there's not a lot of Sith, but there's a lot of things going on with people fighting, and I just love all that.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of like novelizations of Star Wars lore that like we don't really see in this.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool to take the backwards venture into. One of the first introductions to Star Wars I had was Knights of the Old Republic.
Sure.
Which is that old RPG game
yeah.
that my brother got me into. And I was like, this has nothing to do with any of the actual media that we're watching.
Yeah.
But there's so much going on, right? And then you get to customize your character and you can choose between being a Jedi or whatever. And it's like so fun.
I was actually glad you brought that up because I was about to get us into that topic. Like, of what was your Star Wars journey like growing up? Everyone gets hit with it differently. Sometimes people have parents that are very into it. Some people kind of just discover it on their own or a friend shows them. So what was that for you?
I think for me it was definitely a mix of things, like playing the game. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was also a game that I played a lot.
Yeah.
Watching the movies with family whenever we put it on the VHS. So it's just like I can't pinpoint the exact first time I watched or recognized Star Wars as a media.
Yeah.
But I know that really stands out to me.
Sure.
What about you?
For me, so I remember, I think I was sick soon before Episode 5 came out. When Episode 5 came out, I was like 7. Not Episode 5. I keep saying it because it's 2005, but Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Yes. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm literally not like a poser. But, no. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, came out in 2005. I was around 7. I remember I was gearing up to watch it, and I think I was just sick one day, and my parents rented all the movies. I think my dad is somewhat interested in Star Wars. Like, if it's like on TV, he'll watch it, and he watched them back in the day coming out. I have vague memories of sitting in my basement watching, like I see snippets of like Jar Jar Binks doing something, and then like Luke later in that day doing something. So I think I binged 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2, or I did 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Like, I don't remember that, but then I remember watching Episode 3 in theaters with my parents and my cousins, and that was awesome because the one thing I picture is the Mustafar fight, absolutely massive in front of us. Like, That's the thing I remember. And spoiler alert for my rankings. There's a like people love the movie. People say it's like, you know, overhyped because of the Mustafar scene. I still get the feeling I got whenever I watch it again of like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that's why it'll be high up there.
Sure. And like, I think for me, the first movie that comes to mind is Phantom Menace.
Sure, yeah.
I just remember being a kid sitting on my floor on the carpet, really close to the TV, and seeing, you know, Obi-Wan having to watch his master get killed and then have his final battle, which, like, I don't know, I can replay that from my childhood youth back and forth all the time, which follows me around so much that one of the first times I went to Disneyland, it was when they were adding Star Wars stuff into the idea of like,
Yeah.
hey, let's bring it around. And they would have this event that they would pick kids from the stage to become an honorary Jedi.
Yeah.
And they would train you and like help you fight whoever you were going against. And I remember just being so excited. I ran to the front just to watch, and I got picked.
Nice.
And I got to fight Darth Maul in front of everyone. And I was not holding back. I was going ham on this actor.
Of course.
I know at the time he was probably like, oh, fuck, this kid needs to chill. I was swinging. I was jumping around. And it was so cool. And I got like a little award for it. I'll try to find it. I don't know if I can. So I'm actually a Jedi.
I know
I'm
you
a space wizard.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to talk about it. We don't want to get into it anymore. It's always watching.
You're being hunted down. So yeah.
But yeah, so for me to think about watching Phantom Menace for the first time and really connecting with Obi-Wan, spoiler, that's a character that I really truly think might be my top one, my favorite. And then cutting around to living that as a kid, it changed me.
Yeah.
Truly changed me. So now I hear Star Wars, and I know people love Star Wars so much, I do, and I have a lot of friends who talk about it so passionately. I'm a poser in the sense that it's like I am a Jedi. I am literally the way.
Yeah,
so I just kind of pass by it like it's nothing.
I mean, and dude, Darth Maul is so cool.
So fucking
when
cool.
he shows up in Phantom Menace and the first lightsaber comes out and then the one comes out from the back. I went as Darth Maul for like 2 years in a row in Halloween.
Are you kidding?
When I was younger, for
That's
sure.
Awesome.
My mom, shout out my mom, like didn't want to buy like the full like lightsaber because it probably just costs a lot of money, and knowing, you know, a child, they're gonna break it or like forget about it a week later. Giant broom, painted it red, tinfoil for the handle. And I was Darth Maul, like got the Party City Darth Maul getup, but it didn't come with a lightsaber. But then I was running around with that.
That's so cool.
Bro, I was whacking my cousins and everything with that. I know for a fact.
Do you have a photo?
I want to see if I can find a photo. The photos will probably be like printed photos.
Sure.
So it would probably take a minute. I could ask my mom.
So if you could find that, I'll look for the time when I was working at Target. And for May the 4th, they let me dress up as Kylo Ren because that's when the movie was coming out.
That's sick.
So I was walking around Target dressed up like Kylo Ren the whole day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, granted that I was like leaving high school when those movies first started coming out. Kylo Ren was my dude.
Yeah.
I remember watching that trailer and be like, yo, he's cool.
He's sick, and we should have got more. Like,
I
not to
know.
get into it, but like, yeah.
Force Awakens was great. I know the sequels, the people don't love the sequels. Force Awakens was a great setup. It had so much going for it.
It had so much, and like it obviously the last two just went off the bracket, and you know a lot of the reasons why. If you don't, maybe we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But it could have been great because Rey, Kylo, and Finn were all wonderful characters, and Poe even. They all had the potential for new protagonists in a Star Wars world where we could forget about everyone else for a second because they all brought something different to the table. Yeah. And then they just fucked us.
It was rough. Everyone knows this, like everyone says this online, but it's really disappointing that Disney bought it, intended to make a trilogy, and didn't plan out the trilogy. Like, what's the point of that? Like, before I even made a first movie, if I was an executive, if I was the people in charge of running the new future of Star Wars, I would be like, okay, we're doing a trilogy. This is going to happen in 1. This is going to happen in 2. This is going to happen in 3. Because the problem with those movies isn't necessarily the dialogue or the characters, because those are great. It's the story that they go through. And that's the part that sucks. And it's like, because that's the easiest one to plan. It's like, you can do the outline of like, this is going to happen in episode 1, this is going to happen in episode 2, this is going to happen in episode 3 of the trilogy, or 7, 8, 9. But, and like, you could not execute that well, but the problem is they didn't have a plan. And it's like, so we got 3 movies, which are fine on their own. Like, Rise of Skywalker is its own thing, but it's whatever. But like, episode 8 is very divisive. It's a good movie, but the problem why it's so divisive is because it just reverts half of the storylines from the first movie. And why are we doing that? Oh, because Rian Johnson wants a divisive ending and things like that. I don't want that in my Star Wars. I love Rian Johnson. I love Knives Out. I love Looper. I love all the things that he does.
Looper's great.
Shout out Looper. He's a great writer. What are you trying to make a divisive film in a Star Wars franchise in the middle of a Star Wars franchise?
I mean, that's my problem in general with Disney. Is obviously we've gone to the MCU and you've heard the hot takes from me in the superhero episode. But in the same sense of having a director join a project and then they make it their own versus realizing this is bigger than them.
Yes.
Like, yes. I'm more than happy for a director or writers or whatever talent that I like to join a project, as long as they're willing to understand it is not about them. It is about the creative project that they're delving into, and especially a big one like this, the fans who are watching it.
Yeah.
So if you are a big-time director who gets a project and you want to make it your Star Wars, go fuck yourself. That's not what we want. We want you to do the job that you're given in the sense of what is there. And that's what bugs me about the Star Wars and, with a lot of other Disney projects. I much like it more when you can tell the passionate people who are working on it care.
Yeah.
And it's not just a thing they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And here's the ugly truth that we would probably have to face. Within our lifetime, they're going to remake those movies. They are. We're in an age where they remake and reboot all the fucking time. Disney has not put out an original project in like 10 years. We've done like every princess movie in the last whatever. We're going to get them. Maybe not in the next 5 years. Maybe not in the next 10.
You think remade in
but
live action or animated?
Live action. I think in like 10 years.
I don't think they will.
I think they will, man. I don't want it. I think that is the dumbest idea. But the last 10 years of Disney's executives, because I'm not talking about the Disney creatives. I'm talking about the Disney executives that look at dollars over actual creativity. I think we're going to get an episode 4 remake in the next 10 to 15 years.
The day that they remake a Star Wars movie, I will buy you a lightsaber. Whether that's in a year, 10 years.
No, buy me 30, a real one. Like a real lightsaber.
At that point, they'll exist, and I'll buy you one.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When we think about who would even tackle that project, I only trust myself to make it. Because here's the thing. I think it's crazy that they would ever make it. If they told me, let's say 10 years from now, like we're making movies, we're doing the things we want to do, and they're like, would you want to make a Star Wars? I'd be like, first off, no, I don't think Star Wars should be remade. However, like if you're going to make it with or without me, I'd be attached to it, because at the end of the day, I would be the fan that's like, okay, we're making this work out. Like, have you seen the... Like, I would... Because you know who I would grab? I would grab, like, Sam Witwer. I would grab... You ever see Freddie Prinze Jr. go off about Star Wars?
Yeah, I love Freddie.
I would grab him. I would grab these people that I'm like, okay, I would trust with this property. I would grab Chase, our friend. I would grab people that I know care about it, and I'd be like, okay, they're going to make this with or without us, so we are going to make this project, and we're going to make sure that it's actually telling a good story and a good Star Wars story. Because that's the thing that scares me the most. I'm afraid they're going to give it to somebody who only is cashing a check, and it's going to butcher Star Wars.
Which has happened already, right?
Which has happened already.
It's just not the remake sense, just more content out.
Yes. I'm going to go, cool, sign me on for 3 movies, because I'm not doing 1 movie, and then you're going to give it to somebody else who's going to rewrite whatever, and then give it to a third person for a 3rd movie. I'm like, I'll even take a lesser pay. I'm just...
Hey, I'll do it for free.
Yeah, no, I'll do it for free just to not ruin...
right now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great pivot for us to get into your rankings.
Sure.
All right, since we're talking about your side of Star Wars.
And what the
and how
funny
you
thing
feel.
is that I said that I would volunteer to do it, and I don't even mean me. I just mean like I think any Star Wars fan would be afraid of literally any other person tackling the thing that they like.
Oh, I mean,
any
yeah,
these
for sure. Like
remakes.
any of these things I grew up with, like that I am passionate about, like Star Wars,
Yeah.
like superhero MCU, like DCU, anything like that. Like, of course, I would want to work on it and do it right. But there's that fear of that attached to it. It's like making
Yeah.
sure you are being authentic to it. You are
Yeah.
making those decisions, and no matter what, someone's gonna hate something you do.
Yeah.
That's
No, that's
that's
a
out of my
given,
head.
and
But I just know if given the opportunity that if I had the team that I would want to work with walking into it, we're creating the best project you've seen.
yeah,
And I don't even hesitate
Yeah.
or thinking about what if, because I know we can.
yeah. Because like the biggest thing that pisses me off is like episode 9. Have you heard of the leaked script where it's Duel of the Fates instead of Rise of Skywalker?
No.
So there's a leaked script of what the concept script was for episode 9. It's actually really like pretty good. It's not perfect, nothing is, but it tells a more interesting story, and it doesn't bring back Palpatine. It doesn't do all this like random shit. But the executives see it and they go, I don't think this is going to make enough money. You know what makes money? Emperor Palpatine. Palpatine makes money. Bring him back. Oh, you need to make a new droid? Make Dio, the guy, the little boy on the wheel. Like, you can't even think of him because he doesn't. It's
Which
so
is
unimportant
so
to the plot.
dumb because it's Star Wars. It's gonna make a lot of money no matter what.
Yeah,
Because
but
any kid who is gonna watch these space wizards are going to fall for the same trap we did growing up.
yeah,
They don't need to know. They don't know who Palpatine is at this point, probably.
Yeah.
Because this is the new generation picking it up,
Yes.
right? And this is why we give the new generation protagonists that they can see themselves in,
yeah,
that are chosen to help them get to this place where we're chopped and Unk sitting in the back going, well, back in my Star Wars day, this,
Yeah.
but it's yours now.
And I do think that's because you raise a really good point. I do think that will happen with the sequel trilogy. I think people will grow up, and then people like 10 years from now will actually have some like, oh, I grew up with episode 7, 8, 9. I remember watching the Kylo Ren versus Luke Skywalker on that like ice salt planet, and that was one of the coolest things I saw when I was a kid. And they forgive it. Like our generation, like we're 28, we like the prequels more than like 30 and 40-year-olds. You know what I'm talking
I get
about?
what you're saying. Yeah,
Some of them despise episodes 1 and 2 and 3.
I know. I mean, they make it the joke in Kevin Smith's movies or the first one. Like, you're waiting in line for
Yeah.
so long for garbage. And I know a lot of people actually think that. And I
Yeah.
sit here like, no, that's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, getting to see Anakin and Obiwan fighting and,
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes of all time in Star Wars, a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, sorry. Right?
Patton Oswalt, you know Patton Oswalt,
Love
the
Patton
comedian?
Oswalt. Yeah.
He has a stand-up bit where for like 20 minutes he's just ranting about Star Wars, and he's like, oh, like if I could go back in time and talk to George Lucas, and he was like, oh, are you interested in Star Wars? You like Darth Vader? And he's like, yeah, I love Darth Vader. What are you gonna do with him? He's like, oh, he's gonna be a little kid and he's gonna be sad. And it's like, oh, do you like the Death Star? He's like, oh, I love the Death Star. Death Star's awesome. He goes, all right, cool. You're gonna see it for like 2 seconds at the end of the third movie. And it's like, as funny as it is, it's like that generation despises the prequels. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to make something new for all audiences. But the way our generation forgives the prequels, I think the younger generation will forgive the sequels a little bit more.
And I agree. And, like, this is my thing with it. I can see where it could have been good. So that's why
of course.
I say that, right? Like, Finn is a Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't need
they
to tell me
they
it.
make that canonical in the post episode 9 Lego Star Wars Christmas special.
No idea.
Because my sister and I watched it just like as a joke, and he's doing Jedi training.
Because he is a Jedi. Like,
He
I
is,
didn't need
he
anyone
is.
else to tell me. I knew that.
Yeah.
In my soul, I saw Finn go through Finn's tournament. Finn's a Jedi. And oh my god,
I'm already telling you now because we have so much to talk about today. We're gonna do an episode, a sequel trilogy rewrite or just talk about which we hyped? Like,
I definitely want to do an episode, and so you, the audience, let us know if you're interested. I want to do an episode based on one of the ordering of watching it, like the machete order.
oh, sure, yeah,
And
yeah.
like what specific way, just so we could see how it felt. Maybe one of the more newer ones. I forget. There's like one that came out recent, last couple years.
The one that I
Yeah.
actually subscribe to, that I think you were talking about, is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6,
And then what about 79?
7, 8, 9 after that.
After that, okay.
The problem with 7, 8, 9 is that there's no reason to flash back. Whereas you watch episode 4 to learn the world and the story. You watch episode 5, you learn about the Darth Vader reveal, and then you go back, you watch 1, 2, and 3 to learn who Anakin was as a person and like feel that downfall.
Yeah.
And then you watch episode 6, and after just becoming attached to Anakin,
Yeah.
you see his redemption, and it makes you feel a lot better.
Okay, and then we spliced Rogue One into this because I feel like that's.
I
don't see that in the orderings. That
You're
people
so
do,
right.
But I
We've
feel
only-
like you have to.
We've only been talking about the trilogies, but yes, you have to put Rogue One in that because it's. I'd say watch it after 3.
And I guess that's why I'm interested to see what everyone who's listening to this thinks.
Or do you
because-
watch it?
Well, I think you watch it leading into.
I think you watch it first.
Yeah,
I think you
then
watch Rogue One
first, and then you lead into from there
Yeah.
to that.
Because then you see Darth Vader and you're like, holy shit. And then you see him in 4, you see him in 5, and then you see how he was. That's really cool. Oh my god, this is gonna be so fucking nerdy. That gave me chills.
I say we work on, maybe we create our own order of it where we add some important things. There's
The
so many
Mediaverse
TV
cut?
the Mediaverse cut. There's so many TV shows that I wouldn't say we add them. I know that my roommate Luis, is always saying like Andor is wonderful, and I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I hear the amazing things, so we're gonna watch it sometime this month. But as much as I'd want to add that to before Rogue One, it is 2 seasons.
It's
right?
hard.
And
It's hard because you have 2 seasons of that. You have seasons of The Mandalorian, and then you also have like, if you're gonna include that, you might as well include the Clone Wars.
And then you have
it's
the
like,
Clone Wars,
and now you have to watch episode 1 and then episode 2 and then like 6 seasons of television and then episode 3 and then season 7.
And then you have the Mall show now,
And then you have the Mall show. You have Rebels.
There's so much. So
I
would
don't think
say
counting the TV
we're gonna
shows.
hold movies to this cut that we
Agreed.
do.
Agreed.
And I would love to. I'm holding my rankings until I do this rewatch. That's been my goal. One of my New Year's resolution was to do a Star Wars full day watch through, and then from there I'll be willing to give my official rankings with.
Sure. So let's revisit Star Wars again in the future. We'll talk about all the additional things we want to talk about. We'll do a second episode of Star Wars when you have done that. So catch that, in like
when we've done it,
several months from now. But hopefully you get to watch them back to back in the future. That'd be fun.
Oh, that's the plan.
But yeah, with that, I'm gonna go into my Star Wars ranking. Should I start top down or bottom up? Like worst to best or best to worst?
Oh, that's tough because
Just give me one. I'll be ready for it.
I'm just gonna say go top to bottom.
Top to bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite Star Wars movie is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I think there's a lot of things going for it. People find the Hutts and everything like involved with Jabba the Hutt and like all that sequence. I really like that. To me, that was a lot of fun watching it as a kid. And then I really just love the ending. The ending's amazing. It has one of my favorite moments with when Luke is fighting Darth Vader and he gets the upper hand. He starts using the dark side a little bit. He beats his hand. He cuts his hand off. Darth Vader. He sees that him and his father both have the robotic arm. And in that moment, he's like, this is like, I'm not going to fight and win like this. And it's the whole like, the whole speech of I'm a Jedi like my father before me. Like, that is Star Wars to me. The whole bit of that is Star Wars. The lightsaber fight to that speech, to getting electrocuted with the Force lightning, to Darth Vader throwing the Emperor off the thing. That is Star Wars to me. That holds everything. And then the ending, they changed the music from the original, but when all of the planets are celebrating and it's the music, I don't even want to recreate it, but when they're all celebrating on Endor, and then they look over and you see the 3 Force ghosts, all of that music, like the John Williams score of it all, always brings a tear to my eye. Like, it is just so good.
I mean, this scoring alone is always like
John Williams is a legend.
I'm never not gonna hear any Star Wars music and go immediately to the vibe that they were trying to create in that, right?
Yeah. We could also, while we're going through these movies, we can talk a bit about if one of these movies has one of your favorite moments in Star Wars. Like, if you have a few, feel free to just say, "and this part," because I will say that end fight and that ending sequence is my favorite, one of my favorite bits. Anything else about Return of the Jedi?
Let's go.
Cool. Next one, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I already said it a little bit earlier. Hayden Christensen gets a lot of flack. I think that's because Attack of the Clones, because me personally, I think he's great in Episode 3. I think Episode 3 is really fun with the Grievous fight and with Obi-Wan. And then, of course, the Mustafar fight. The Mustafar fight. Oh.
I don't get it when people don't like Hayden Christensen doing what he was supposed to do. Like,
yeah.
Like, what did he do wrong? Nothing. He played the character that he was supposed to, given with what he was written and allowed to do and act.
Sure.
And his acting was exactly the Anakin that was going through it in 3, not anything past him as a person, but what his, if anything, method of knowing what this character was going through during this time.
Yeah.
So I am a truther on his performance. I think it's phenomenal. It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
And I won't stand for the slander.
I get the gripes a little bit in Attack of the Clones, and we'll get to that when I get to Attack of the Clones. Episode 3, he really steps it up. And maybe that's from the direction. Maybe he understood the character more in that moment. But there's like the moments where he's fighting with Obi-Wan, he shows it really well. He's a phenomenal physical actor with the lightsaber. Like, they're both just so talented, him and Ewan McGregor. But there's the scene where Padme is, like, early on in the film, Padme is telling Anakin that she's pregnant. And the facial expressions that he shows, like the worry, the excitement, the surprise, he conveys it all through, and it's very subtle. She's talking, and like you just see this person just reacting, but you're like, you can't call this guy a bad actor. If anything, he's just getting bad direction and terrible dialogue, because George Lucas, great writer in terms of building the Star Wars universe, terrible at writing dialogue. He's just not good at it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think Hayden Christensen hate is very annoying, especially to older generations. When I talk to like older cousins and stuff, and I'm so glad that the newer generation, us and younger, love him.
Yeah, and I think my hot take is if you're gonna give Hayden slack for his performance, then you also have to do that for Harrison Ford, who's pretty much playing himself as Han Solo.
Yeah,
and everyone loves it. Everyone eats it up. And
yeah.
I love Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And I think Han Solo is a fun character, but sometimes it's just that.
It's
right?
just him.
It's just him. And that's great that he could play a character that's just him and he evolves into very well. I love actors who do that. But Hayden was actually putting in these efforts of trying to shift between the realms of what Anakin is going through during this time. The other ones are a little bit more cheesier and fun, right? And they get away with those easier, like
Anakin's a hard character to play.
For sure.
It's a very hard character to play. But with that, anything else?
Go ahead.
Cool. Then I'm going to go to my number 3, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Many people consider that their favorite Star Wars movie and the best. I think it's, from start to finish, maybe the best narrative. It's great. It's in my top 3 for a reason. The other 2 are straight up nostalgic factors. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Empire?
I think Empire does get the recognition for being the best one. I mean, even in like when they're referencing it in what Spider-Man talks about it.
Yes.
He's like, that really old movie.
Old movie Empire. Jesus, Tony, how old is this kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get why it's there.
Yeah.
No real comments on it besides that. Like I said, I'm saving most of my comments for my rewatch.
Sure.
Because I am thinking.
Sure. Yeah. The thing with 5, I like how it starts on Hoth. I like all of that. I kind of get a little tired or bored around Cloud City, like in the middle parts. I think Lando's a really cool character. And then it goes to the end, and the ending's awesome. However, I mean, not however, it's a great movie. It ends on a cliffhanger, a sad like cliffhanger. They lost Han, all that. I think that's revolutionary because it kind of sets the tone for most trilogies now, where like most people even refer like, oh, this is this trilogy's empire, because so many movies do this, where the first movie ends on a high, the second movie ends on a low, and the third one ends on a high. So many trilogies have done that in since, and because it's revolutionary, it's a great writing tactic.
Yeah.
But yeah, Empire. Everybody else and their mother has said enough, so I will move on from that. Getting to my number 4, I have Rogue One. Rogue One's awesome.
You did have it on your list.
I included because there's a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
So I included that. Rogue One is just, it's great. It's so good. The characters are a lot of fun. I like the what's the droid's name? It's like a K.
Oh, K9.
Yes,
Maybe
something where it's a battle droid and he's great. It's so fun. I love the monk. I like the how like him and the I think he's a mercenary. They like butt heads, but they're also ultimately like friends.
Yeah,
and he's the one that even at the end starts saying like one with the Force, like things like
yeah.
It's just so good. And then the ending with the planet being destroyed and Jin and Cassian ending up together just is amazing. And then, or they end up together, they embrace in that final moment
of like, we're not making it out of this, but
they saved the galaxy, but they don't get to live in that galaxy.
It was
so
tough
tragic.
watching that movie in theaters, because when we got to that point, like, I know that they're not making it.
Yeah.
For a fact. But in my heart, I'm like, there's a way. There's a way they're going to get him out. You hope.
You hope somebody's...
Oh, what's this thing? Hope. Yeah, I had it then. And I was waiting. And then I saw them embrace and I went, no.
And just watching it get closer and closer to them, and then the screen whites out.
I was sobbing after that movie.
It's a gorgeous... Like, it's gorgeous writing. It's gorgeous visuals. They are acting amazing. It is one of the best things that Star Wars has done in the last 10 years. Has it been over 10 years now?
I think so.
Oh God, I'm old. But yeah, and then that moment, that beautifully tragic moment, like, remove Star Wars from it, that is a beautifully tragic moment that's just amazing in media. And then it leads into the craziest moment in Star Wars history, which is the Darth Vader hallway scene. Sometimes me and my friends will just be hanging out drinking and we go, yo, pull that up on the TV. Let's watch that.
Once we're done with this, I'm pulling up a couple of these scenes because I need the hallway scene, right?
Yeah, because it is the easiest way, because it's easy to watch episode 4 and Darth Vader walks in and he acts a certain way and he's directing people like to do this and this. But Rogue One Darth Vader, when that lightsaber glows, and all like 10 of those men that are trapped in there with him, they are seeing the scariest thing alive. Like, they are completely unmatched. And you don't really see that in Star Wars movies because it's Jedi versus Jedi. These are just guys with a gun who have no business being there.
And Vader has his music that's playing in the background that's dedicated to him. Like, but they're hearing quiet space.
Quiet space.
Imagine how fearful that is for, like, you're hearing people screaming blood-curdling death while he's walking to you. He does his slow little walk. Yeah. And it's just aura farming the whole time.
The minor
his footsteps
actor
are probably so loud.
The minor actor who's trying to get the information through the door, where he's like, take it. And then he grabs it and then just gets stabbed right through it. Like, the fear of God in these people. But it's perfect. Because like you said, it's quiet. You hear the breathing. And the first time you're watching it, you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. And then the lightsaber glows. And it is just, oh, it's so good. It's great.
Rogue One's wonderful.
But yeah, so Rogue One, that is also probably one of my favorite moments in there. But leading right into from Rogue One, I have episode 4, A New Hope. It's classic. It's wonderful.
Speaking of hope,
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, how do you feel about them putting like CGI on like someone to like make them look like Leia? I know that was her daughter, but like, how do you feel about Star Wars? Because Star Wars does this a lot. Because they did this with General Tarkin too in one of the most recent things, where they just superimpose this person's likeness on other people. How do you feel about that?
I don't want it.
Me neither.
I would rather you not do that. Like, and I get it. Like,
Yeah,
I would rather Carrie Fisher's daughter play Leia as how she looks normal.
Yeah.
And like we'll all just accept that that's Leia,
I
and
agree.
we'll go with it. Like, and that's okay. Or find someone, you know, if they're making the decision based on personal emotional reasons, that's okay. Then do the personal emotional decision making by having the family talk about who they nominate to play the character, right?
Yeah.
Or, for example, in Mandalorian, when we get a very young Luke, so it's like CGI.
And that actor looks just like a young Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
So it annoys me that they still did the CGI.
So why CGI if you have this new actor who could just take over the mantle, or maybe cast Sebastian Stan, who
I've heard that too.
also just looks very much like he could just take over and play, and he's already big in the Disney world. So if that's a factor that they need, I don't know
why they do it. I think if you had a guy,
because of the nostalgia.
I know, but I think if you had a guy, especially with like General Tarkin or whatever, if you just had a guy that looked somewhat even like him and you said, General Tarkin, what would you like? I think everyone would go, okay, that's General Tarkin. The other guy died because the movie was made in the 70s and he was also probably in the 70s. But we get it.
We're okay with it. This is the thing. I feel like they're focusing too hard on the ridiculous issues that don't really matter because they think people are going to rage about it.
Yeah.
And then they ruin the story and it's like, well, that's kind of more important, isn't it? Kind of story over just an actor choice.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just how I feel about a lot of the projects in general. But on Star Wars, I'd rather not have the CGI face. Like, just cast someone new. It's 100%. Okay. We're gonna be okay. Things are gonna be okay.
Exactly. We're in agreement, and I figured that'd be the case. But yeah, with that, episode 4 kicks off the whole thing. I could see younger generations watching episode 4 and being like, "My God, this is so slow," because it is. It's a little slow. For the 70s, it probably wasn't, or like I know it wasn't. But it runs a little slow. Yeah. But I will say, it's still a lot of fun.
It is, for sure.
It's really great. One moment that always gives me goosebumps, no matter how many times I watch it, is John Williams' score when Luke is looking out at the two suns. And it's like, I keep trying to want to like hum the music, but I don't want to do it.
Watching you, yeah.
But it's him looking out over the sun, and then the score rises, and it's supposed to be like Luke looking out into the galaxy. He wants more from this life that he's trapped on this farm. And that's classic Star Wars. That's also just what Star Wars means to me, But yeah, also it kicks off everything. We get everybody.
Yeah.
We get Han, we get Obiwan, we get Darth Vader, we get Luke and Leia. It's starting the movie with R2 and C-3PO just like bickering most of the movie is hilarious. Like, I don't think you see Luke for at least the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Honestly, in the running for OG dynamic duo.
OG dynamic duo.
R2 and C-3PO.
For sure. If we had this podcast going in 1979, they would have won.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Or Han and Chewbacca.
Also true.
That would have been a tough race.
That's a tough race right there. They're competing. It's like they're competing in the same freaking movie that they did. I love that, actually.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Ooh, Star Wars Dynamic Duo Award. Maybe when we rewatch all the movies, we do an award dedicated just to Star Wars.
I like that.
A lot of fun.
Because I'm thinking now, we're also going to do this with the MCU. We're going to do like a ranking.
So you guys are kind of just listening to us get production stuff done.
Yeah, this is a production meeting.
Okay, back to the episode.
Anything on New Hope?
Let's go next.
Cool. With that, might come as a shock. Episode 7, Force Awakens. Episode 7, people call the clone of Episode 4 because it has a lot of similar story beats.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's good. Star Wars.
I love how you said that. I don't care.
Star Wars rhymes. People, and it's people from Sam Witwer to Freddie Prinze Jr. and like all the legendary people that have worked on it will say that Star Wars rhymes. And I fully agree with that. I think, you know, what is the big, because they're like, oh, it's just a big Death Star, but even bigger. And it's like, yeah, but remember in episode 6 when they went, oh, what do we do? And they just built another fucking Death Star. Like they did it again. Like that's, but I don't even care because like, I don't know, that makes sense for that universe.
Well, that's how the world
That's
works
a nuke.
here, you know?
That's a nuke.
It's
People
like
made a nuke
they
back in the 40s, and then they were like, okay, what do we do bigger than that? And then they made
make another
a
one,
bigger
make a
nuke.
bigger one. And it's
That's
like,
just,
with, especially in this world, like, we know the Sith is evil, right?
yeah.
We know that they have decided to create a planet destroyer, and they've learned it works and it functions. So why would they go, oh, you destroyed it, we give up. Yeah, we're not going to do that again. No, they're going to go bigger.
And do people want just like a different shape? Like if it was a triangle, would they be like, okay, this is better? Like, no, just make a fucking planet. It's a planet that they hollowed out to make the Death Star.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool
Like
shit.
30 years later, yeah, they probably would do that.
Yeah.
I get that. That's cool. But episode 7, I thought was a great start for the new sequel trilogy. And I think all of the characters, I love the opening scene with Poe. Poe is funny enough where he's witty, similar to Han, but it's not to like make anybody laugh. It's for him personally.
Sure.
Kylo Ren. He shoots Kylo Ren and Kylo Ren stops the laser blast midair.
Epic.
I remember watching that. I think I was a junior in high school. Me and my friends literally like turned to each other and was like, holy shit. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's a great setup. I think Rey and I think Finn. I remember leaving that thinking Finn was one of the coolest characters.
Truly.
I loved everything about the setup. I think it was great. The unfortunate reason and the reason why it's so low is because it's because of what comes after. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
I get what you're saying. Because,
and I try to treat them separately. It's just hard.
And yeah, but just itself, like I agree, and I said this already, that movie was foundational for a lot of people who were coming into Star Wars as new fans, right? This was, and for the people in our generation anyways, I see it as that baton pass that I'm talking about, where it's like, these characters I'm going to love, I'm going to find my own things for them, but I know that I started off with my main core. This is y'all's main core, right? Like, I know you guys are going to think of these, you're going to find your favorites there, that's fine, but like, these are characters you can see yourself in, and like Poe and Finn, characters of color who are like something kind of not really in the Star Wars movies, is like,
for sure.
This is awesome. Like, that we're showing that the world is full of different varieties of everything, as it should, and to just have their chemistry, also a dynamic duo. I think it created such a good opportunity for what was to come next. Like, I think Kylo Ren was such a cool premise of someone who was, again, a new version of the Chosen One, a new person that's supposed to help lead, and for some reason he falls to the path of the Sith.
Yeah.
Why? We'll figure it out. One of my biggest things was always thinking he's doing it as like a secret agent. He's like snuck into what I thought would be that he was doing all of these things to go undercover for Luke, because why would he of all people turn to the Sith? It makes no sense. And so he does it to join them, to gain their trust, and has to do these really evil things, which is why he's talking to the helmet and being like, how did you do this? Can you give me that strength you had, because I don't know if I can keep doing it. So now you're showing the storyline of a character who must do evil for the better good, and what does that look like? I thought that was awesome, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for them to reveal this. Kind of spoiling ahead when we get to the point where he has to kill his dad. And I'm like, I always saw that scene as where he didn't want to, and Han Solo clicks the button on the lightsaber and he kills himself for his son. And looks at him as like, hey, you got this. I know what you're doing. Like, maybe he's like the only person that knew. He's like, it's going to be okay. And I was like, oh my God. Like, okay, now he's struggling even more because his, like, the only person that knew he was in it is now dead. It's his dad and whatever. Then we find out that had nothing to do with it. And I was just making fan cannons in my head.
It sucks. The one thing that, I'll get into this later, but the one thing that Rise of Skywalker does well is mirrors that scene a second time, except when Ben is turning to the light. And I'll get into that a little later. But Yeah, I think they all had so much potential. Rey, Finn, and Kylo especially had so much potential for where these stories can go.
Sure.
And I remember leaving it being like, this is the coolest concept, and I'm glad that this is my Star Wars. Unfortunately, things happen.
Sure.
But yeah. So with that, the one after that is Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Woo.
And
Love
let's be
that one.
real, I only like this for the last act.
Damn, you guys are haters. I love episode 1.
I mean, here's the thing. I think when I was a kid, I really liked it for all of it. I think Jar Jar Binks is for children.
So you don't believe in the Darth Jar Jar?
As an adult, I think he originally considered Darth Jar Jar. I genuinely think he considered Darth Jar Jar, and then people despised it and went, okay, he can't be in the next two. Like, I genuinely do think. And I know people are going to say, no, it's just a funny little thing. I don't know. I think there's
Where is he? Where'd he go?
He literally is in the background of the last two movies where, like, you see him, or maybe he says a line, like, once, and, like...
He was also... What's
Attack
the
of
thing?
the Clones?
This, maybe I'm quoting wrong, where he was one of the votes, obviously, for 66, and supposedly something said that, like, he was the last vote.
Whoa.
And so it's like...
Yeah. Well, it's the vote for to become an empire.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, and listen, and I think he could have been a very interesting character, but I think after he was so poorly received, I think they were just like, all right, we're not doing this.
Sure.
But with that, also another thing, if you are a 40-year-old man right now, or maybe even like older, and you bullied the actors who played young Anakin and Jar Jar Binks, literally go fuck yourself.
Legit, go
You're a
fuck
piece of
yourself.
shit. Or people who attack the actor who played Rose. If you're attacking characters for the character that they played, even if you think they played them terribly, even if you think they're a bad actor, keep that shit to yourself. Stop being a fucking asshole.
Yeah, and I think on that note in general, I think we'll probably say this consistently because this happens way too much in media.
Yeah.
If you're a person who likes to watch something and belittle an actor for their performance or taking away something from a character you like, then it's not for you. Do not watch it. Just leave. Just done. We don't need you in pop culture and media.
Oh my god, especially people who are like, oh, we're watching Star Wars, but they made this part woke, like, by including this person. You are not the target audience for Star Wars.
Yeah, get out of here.
If you're not watching Star Wars and you're not loving the people who are good, like, even if you don't like the character, if you're not respecting, that's the thing. If you're not respecting those actors at the bare minimum, get out of here. You could
not like a character, that's fine.
Yeah.
We all have characters we don't like, but it's what you treat the actors and the people doing it and how you say it, right?
Because these poor actors, especially the kid that played Anakin, he got bullied out of Hollywood and had a terrible life because of it. Like, these people are just so insane. We talk about how crazy Star Wars fans are now. There's a whole joke of it in Community where Abed was yelling at people as they were coming in and out of the theater to watch one of the previous movies. And it's like, granted, that's a joke and, like,
sure,
but that's how they were. These people were psychopaths. So, and I hope that these people grew up, but if you're a 40-year-old and, I'm going to start beef with some other, like, 40-year-olds podcasts right now. If you're a podcaster talking about how these people sucked and whatever, go fuck yourself. Coasting the Mediaverse hates you.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I stand on that, King.
Yeah, because, dude, I see it on TikTok all the time. I see these grown-ass men that are just shitting on people for no reason.
The point of these pop cultures and media are to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, to get an escape for a second, to see things we love and we grew up with. Again, not all of it is going to be for you. Sometimes you're not that generation that they're making this movie for. Sometimes it's someone else. Maybe it is for everyone, but they're not always going to do what you like.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Luke Skywalker would hate your ass.
He would. Him and his Gucci boots and everything.
His Gucci boots. His Balenciaga belt. But Phantom Menace, that whole last act is insane. The fact that they had to slow down Ewan McGregor and the guy who played Darth Maul because they were going too fast. You know that fact?
Yeah.
They had to slow down the footage because they were going too fast. That's awesome.
So epic.
Because it's one of the best fights and it's one of the best duels in the whole thing. It's also just a really pivotal moment for the Star Wars universe. Like, if Qui-Gon doesn't die, he raises Anakin, and Anakin could be one of the greatest Jedi there ever was. But because he doesn't, it's the Duel of the Fates. The whole reason why the song, like the music is called that, is because the Duel of the Fates, even though Maul dies in that moment, and I'm saying, I'm doing that with quotes because we learn that he doesn't.
Which is also insanely sick, by the way.
Oh, I like it.
He uses the rage of this
Sith he's Force just so hateful. He's too hateful to die.
Himself alive in a way he shouldn't have been. Insane.
It's cool. I mean, but even like for the story of what they were doing back then, like where he did die, like even despite that happening, it was too late because Qui-Gon was the real person that was supposed to raise Anakin. Obi-Wan's a great Jedi.
Padawan.
He's
not even a Padawan, but he's still in the stages of having a master.
Yeah.
Like, he's not figured this out. He's still learning.
Because Anakin didn't need Obi-Wan. He needed a father figure that would raise him properly. The problem was, you see this in Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan is sometimes jealous of Anakin because they're not a father-son relationship. They're a brother relationship.
And that's the thing. They're brothers, and sometimes I think Anakin is seeing Obi-Wan more like a father figure, whereas like
he wants to.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
But he knows that they're like brothers, but he wants it. And that's, there's versions of brother and siblings.
Yeah.
That's how it is me and my brother.
But those relationships are different.
They're different.
In that sense. Like, you can be a brother raising another brother, but because they were closer in age and because they were being compared by one another
and everyone around them, right?
Yeah, because there's one point where in Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan turns to Anakin and like kind of makes fun of him, like to belittle him in front of Padme and other people, and like he puts him down. Like Qui-Gon wouldn't do that, but that's what fuels Anakin. That's like kind of that's what puts the wrench into their relationship.
Sure, and then that
never would have happened with Qui-Gon.
No, and then they have their things where it's like almost like a competition all the time. It's like it's kind of like when we're in the room and we were just talking about this. And we're not on the same team for beer pong. Like we're just kind of feeling each other's.
Yeah. Oh, you and I are the most diabolical against each other when we're playing beer
in
pong.
unison. It's like, okay, we're in this together, right?
Yeah.
It's like Obi-Wan and Anakin have this very special relationship where they both understand it, but they also see it differently. Yeah. And that kind of exactly impacts what you're saying.
And that's the thing you see a lot of the times, like both in Clone Wars and sometimes in the movies, they are in sync. There's a novelization of Episode 3 where it's talking about the two when they're in the fighter pilots and they're doing thing, and this is where Anakin says this is where the fun begins and all that. And then that whole sequence, the way they write it, that is that like these two fighters are in such unison that it's terrifying for the other side. Like for the other side, they see those two people, they know who they are, and that's scary because they have heard rumors about Anakin and Obi-Wan throughout the entire galaxy because they are together a unit. Yeah. Like they are unstoppable together, but because they are not, if they were raised together with Qui-Gon, they could have been that and more. But because of all these things, because of Duel of the Fates, it doesn't become that. And then it becomes what we know as Star Wars today.
This dynamic duo award is going to be really hard to give away.
In Star Wars, it's all about duos. It really is. And it's great.
Very common thing.
Yeah. Any more on Phantom Menace?
Let's keep going. I keep yapping about Menace.
So now I have Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Above, because the one right after that is Episode 8, Last Jedi.
I'm curious to hear why.
I'll talk about both of them in tandem.
Okay.
Episode 8, I left the theaters thinking it was really fun. But the more I sat with it, the angrier I got. Because I said, what do you mean that... Like, granted, I don't love Rose as a character. My biggest problem with that is that it separated them from... It separated Poe from Rey. I mean, it separated Finn from Rey. Because the issue that I have with the sequel trilogy is that this duo, or this trio of them, the Poe, Finn, and Rey, aren't a trio until the third movie. They do not. I'm pretty sure at the end of 8, at the end of Last Jedi, Poe and Rey are like, "Oh, it's nice to finally meet you," and it's like they should not be meeting at the end of the second movie in a trilogy. That sucks. They should be meeting in the first 30 minutes, like Finn and Rey did, and they should be the trio, like Luke, Leia, and Han were for most of those movies.
That's so funny because in my brain I thought they were a trio, but now that you're saying that, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the third movie,
it's just because Finn really held them together like glue.
Yeah.
Because Finn was here with Rey, here with Poe.
Yeah.
And you think that it's happening because Finn's just doing such a wonderful job of making those connections known and almost kind of playing telephone.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't realize that.
Also, quick shout out, I do want to say Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, and Daisy Ridley, I love you guys. I think those characters are still great because they are giving it 110%. I love them very much. I hope they continue doing other things. I know Oscar Isaac's in like every other movie franchise. Yeah, but with that, Episode 8 was very disappointing for me. I really like the last act a little bit. I like the Kylo and Luke, just like the fight where Luke's actually not there and it's the Force Ghost. But I don't like what they did with Luke. I don't think Luke... What we know about Luke in 4, 5, and 6, and granted, 30 years passed. Many things happened. He changed. He had a thing. I do not think Luke Skywalker that we got in Episode 6, my favorite moment in Star Wars, of him realizing that even his father can return to good, would preemptively consider killing his nephew. I think that is absurd. That is my biggest, like, what are you thinking moment in all of Star Wars?
Well, and that's my problem with it, because they don't really, unless I'm wrong, don't get into so much about what happened that day where Kylo just goes out and kills the other Padawans he's training with.
They say that Luke sensed violence in him, so he preemptively went to attack. Like,
yeah, and so that really bugs me, because you hear that, and if you're like someone in the Sith, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right, but it's like so unbelievable to the character we know who Luke is.
Yeah.
Which is why in my head I was like, my canon of like, yeah, okay, so they fake this, right?
Yeah.
They were about to get caught by the Sith, and so they decided, well, how can we save all of them? And Kylo was like, let me in, coach, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like, you know, something happens between us. We fake the death of all of our other friends. We send them around the world, right back into the idea of going back into hiding.
Sure.
And then we'll come back eventually and figure it out. I'll be in the inside. But no, now it's just kind of like, yeah, I had a bad vibe from him one day. And I think
you can do that better. I think you can like show a montage of Ben training and being aggressive, and then Luke being like, you're too aggressive, I'm not going to train you anymore. And then Kylo explodes, and then they maybe have a little fight, and then whatever.
But
I think that's
for the
fine.
swing is crazy.
But to try to kill him in his sleep, even to say that Luke like regretted it the second he considered it, like it just doesn't
feel like
that is not Luke Skywalker as a character.
Like Luke deciding, I'm going to stop this cycle of bad by just being the killer. And I don't feel like it really makes sense either.
And people don't like that Luke was like the hermit on the planet on his own doing whatever. That's not the part I hate. It's that part of the flashback.
Hermit's fine because it shows that he's punishing himself for the decision that he made, but the decision should have been different.
Because I think if he tried to raise up the new generation, especially his nephew, and then he failed, and then his nephew, who of the two people that he loved, like turned into this evil person, I could see him becoming a hermit and going whatever. I think you could have written that 1,000 different ways that would be better than him just trying to kill his nephew in his sleep. Yeah. That is just not Luke Skywalker. It will never be Luke Skywalker. The other thing that I hate so much about Episode 8, him taking the lightsaber, because at the end of Episode 7, it's this big reveal. We finally see Luke Skywalker. Rey holds out the lightsaber to Luke. You're left on him looking at it. And then the movie ends. I remember thinking how awesome that was. And then you wait a couple years, the next movie comes out, we finally get that moment. What does he do? He throws it over and walks away. Oh my god, did that bother me so much. And maybe future audiences who watch it like when there's like maybe 10 minutes in between them watching episode 7 and them starting episode 8 with like a binge, maybe they don't mind it as much. Maybe they go, "Oh wow, that's a funny little thing." Fuck that moment, bro. I hate that moment so much. I get what they're trying to do. Maybe he drops it, maybe he hands it back to her, throwing it over his shoulder. Oh my god, bro, that annoys me so much.
It's a part to play into the goofy humor that they do, but the goofy humor just hits different, as we know in the older ones to this now.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It's again, this is the character that they're making Luke. This version of Luke would do that. It's believable. It's the version of Luke that we wanted wouldn't. It'd be maybe a little different, but this is not what we're getting, right? We're not getting what we wanted. We're getting the character that has been written, and so that I could understand why this character did it, but it's obviously
It's one of those things where it's like, when I watched it happen, I went like, oh dang, this is not the Luke that I was expecting. But then I had a good time watching the whole movie. I actually really liked the what do they call it? The dyad? No, something where Rey and Kylo can like talk to each other even though they're on like different galaxies or different star systems and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That he can like see each other and talk. I find that very interesting. I think it's like the Force dyad or something. Dynamic duo, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I'd give it more to like in this movies. I'd give it more to I don't know. There's a couple.
But with that, I've been talking more about how episode 8 sucks more than episode 9, which most people hate episode 9. And while I agree it sucks as a story, it doesn't do anything like interesting for the story. The only thing I like is that it's entertaining for me. Because even while it's not good, even while I think it's stupid that Rey shot Force Lightning at the ship and exploded it, and we thought Chewie was dead for a scene, which I totally didn't. But like watching their choices are more entertaining and less like Ryan Johnson's choices in episode 8 for me are less interesting but are better for the story, whereas the opposite is for episode 9, where at least I could have a fun time watching it knowing it's a stupid fucking movie.
Valid. See, I've never seen 9.
What?
And I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting
What?
to tell you this now. So you just spoiled that for me.
No! Oh my god! Why didn't you? We've been talking about doing this episode for days now. Why didn't you say that?
Because I was waiting for one to get a reaction from you because.
But I just spoiled shit for
content.
you.
But also because I want to watch it in this cut that I'm gonna be doing. I want it to be like. Because when it was coming out, I did get it spoiled for me that Palpatine was the big thing, and I was like, this is dumb. Like I knew this was gonna be the way it was happening, and I heard all the things that like I didn't want happening were happening.
So you're so goofy for that.
Thank you. So I knew I was walking in biased, and so I didn't watch it, and I was like, you know what? I didn't even have the time for it. Whatever. It just kind of never happened. I went, this is perfect. One day I'm gonna have the final time to watch all of these in one marathon, and then I will truly know how I feel.
Okay.
Doing that. So
then we will return when we do this this Star Wars episode again, like maybe like a couple months from now or like towards the end of the year. And I do want your opinion on this because a lot of people hate 9 and it's their least favorite. It's the bottom of the list for most people. I always have 8 at the bottom and then 9 just above it.
Fair.
Because I don't like both of them, but at least 9 has better moments.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited to give my ranking to parallel yours to see where I am after this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I have been really wanting to do this, and this is the month to do it. Yeah. So if I do this a lot sooner, maybe this will come out a little quicker. Yeah. Maybe it'll be a shorter episode. We'll just give it to you guys. We'll see. But...
And then I'm just gonna say my last 2. I don't have much to say on them because not only do I not really like them, I also just don't even care about them. After episode 8, I have episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I don't care for it. I don't care about Kamino as a planet. I don't care about the start of the only good thing about it is Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. That's the only good thing I like about those movies.
Crazy.
I don't like the stadium fight. Jango Fett getting his head cut off by Mace Windu. Sure.
Kind of rad.
I mean, they're fun little sequences, but totally forgettable. It's no offense to Christian Haydenson, not his best work as Anakin. Not even Ewan McGregor's best work as Obiwan.
Brian sucks, not Hayden. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
No, yeah.
I think
I got Hayden.
nobody
Hayden listening to this. I have to let him know. Like, it's Brian.
Well, when we have Hayden on, we can pull up this clip and I can apologize to him face to face. Well, I'll tell him that I love him to death in episode
then he kills
3.
You.
Yes. He was actually awesome in the Obi-Wan show.
Yes.
He was awesome in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah, the Obi-Wan show was awesome.
Yeah. So, listen, I'm a Hayden Christensen fan and defender. But with that being said, nobody is giving their best work in episode 2. It's just not good. And then at the very bottom, at the very, very, very bottom.
So unfortunate.
Do you know what I'm about to say?
Solo.
Yeah, Solo.
I actually really love Solo. And every time I talk to people about Solo, everyone does hate it. Yeah. And I had so much fun watching Solo. I really like Solo. I like Solo a lot, actually. There's a line that he did. I don't remember anymore because I haven't said it in years. But it was like, he's like, I'm a pilot, I'm a driver, I'm a something. And that was like aura, like so cool. So cool.
I think the actor is fine as Han.
Oh, he's
because that's
great.
An instance where
he's
a
wonderful Han.
Yeah, I think he's great.
I don't think he got enough credit for being Han. He got a lot of backlash as well, which is
who is that, by the way?
I forget the name. I'm not a name person, but
yeah,
he was wonderful.
He was good. I liked him. But with that being said, I did not care for that movie. It's just I have no hate towards it like I do for like parts of episode 8. I just have straight apathy.
I'm so excited.
Straight apathy.
Or I'm gonna put that on my list because I know it's gonna be kind of up.
Yeah,
like I love Solo.
And that's what's funny about when before the list I said that like if anybody's gonna direct a new Star Wars movie, it's gonna be me because that's the only person I trust. Someone listened to my list that we just went through and went, stay the fuck away from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Fair.
Valid.
Because we talk about episode, like we talk about the rankings at like work sometimes, and like it's nice that some people typically have groupings in certain areas and whatnot.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I like that everyone's are slightly different.
Yeah.
You typically have 5 at the top. You typically have the sequels towards the bottom, and you know the prequel, like 1 and 2, somewhere down at the bottom. Yeah, it's
not
just
this guy.
No, I know. I'm excited for yours.
Putting Strike Back at the bottom, bro.
Bro's gonna have my exact list just in reverse.
In reverse, yeah. Solo number 1.
Solo, I remember Solo in the first like opening scenes of the movie when they're like, "What's your name?" And he's like Han, and they're like, "Last name?" He's like, "I don't have one." They're like, Han Solo, and I literally watching it the first time went, "Be fucking for real." Like, that's so lame. And you know what? That's a fine origin story for him and his last name.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid.
It's the same thing about how I feel in the end of the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Oh,
you
should go by your middle
name. Robin. Meanwhile, I'm wearing a full-on Robin costume at this premiere for the 3 movies back to back, going, that was bullshit. That's not what I wanted.
It's so funny. I do think that in like 30 years, if I've ever worked on a franchise, I will also include a stupid ass line like that in like one of my things because it makes sense. Like, it's not a bad thing. In the Nolan universe, it makes sense to have that character eventually be the Robin or whatever.
Yeah, but not to have a middle name Robin. That's different.
But that's so...
The Han Solo thing, it's so cheesy. It kind of like, you can go, oh my god, that's so rough.
And I did.
Like,
but it's also... It works.
It works. This one... Where it's Robin's your middle name, I will kill you.
You should go by your middle name, Robin.
Stop. It's cool.
You know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt didn't even know that was going to be in the movie.
I know.
He was like,
Because, again, it felt like they were doing the whole... Maybe they would do a mantle pass, but they just wouldn't put too much... Like, he found his own cave or whatever.
I think Christopher Nolan had no interest in doing...
Don't get me started. That's a whole nother episode. You guys want hot Michael takes? Let me talk about the Nolan...
Michael doesn't like the Nolan movies.
I don't like a lot of parts of it.
Sure.
There are some things I really enjoy.
Sure.
And some things that I despise.
You are like, I love Batman. You are a Batman fanatic. So like...
We'll save that for a Batman episode.
Yeah, we'll do a Batman episode soon.
But... And back to Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
That's your ranking.
that is my ranking. And I talked about all my favorite parts, all my least favorite parts. I'm very Star Warsed out in the best way possible.
Why am I'm excited is I don't even think I need to ask any of you listening to comment on this because I know you guys are going to comment on it.
Yeah.
You guys have things to say about Star Wars. I'd love to hear that.
The funny thing about Star Wars is it is the most hot topic anytime it's brought up.
Yeah.
Someone will say something at work, just like an offhand comment about Star Wars. 35 minutes later, we are in the thickest of debates because people just everyone's got Star Wars.
It's just
opinions.
so captivating. I mean,
it is.
One of the funniest things that happened today. I give you guys a little brief into our life. I got a call from Brian at 1:00 in the afternoon, and
I was like, "Hey, are we recording today?"
And I knew we record at a certain time always in our schedule on Sundays. And I went, "Hey, Brian, why aren't you here already?" And he said, "No, dude, you're just waking up. What's going on?" I commenced to tell him that me and my roommate had stayed up from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. in the morning playing Fortnite Droid Tycoon, a Star Wars game made for this month. And it was so fun, so addicting to learn more about all these bots and all these droids in different ways, collecting them and just yapping about Star Wars while we were playing the whole time. And yeah, that's that kind of world that just captures you.
Yeah, no, and I even love the so there's the video games. I love being Cal Kestis, just running around with a lightsaber, doing Force things.
And we got to give Starkiller a shout out from the Force Unleashed.
For sure, Force Unleashed. I consider those movies. I mean, I consider those games to be not canon because
they have
Starkiller's just
forced to not be canon. But Starkiller's so fucking awesome. I wish he was canon.
But that's the thing. He's so awesome. I'm glad he's not canon because you're telling me a guy that just whoops around Darth Vader exists, huh? Like that's crazy. I think it's a really fun OC. Yeah, but he's too OP.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome game. I love
wish
those
we had
games.
More Grey Jedi, to be honest.
Oh, don't talk about Grey Jedi in front of Freddie Prinze Jr. I once subscribed to the idea of Grey Jedi. I thought it's a very interesting idea. I thought that's what they were doing with Episode 9, because at the end, Rey decides that she's going to be her own type of Jedi.
Spoiler.
And I was very interested about that. Well, fun fact, they don't. Because Grey Jedi is like a forbidden thing when you're writing a Star Wars movie. I don't know. It's weird. Apparently, you can make a joke about they fly now, even though stormtroopers and stuff have been flying for decades in that universe. But you can make a they fly joke, but you can't make a Grey Jedi.
Cool.
Yeah. Because, like, George Lucas has, like, rules of, like, how the systems work.
Oh, Lucas.
But listen to the Freddie Prinze Jr. on why there's no such thing as Grey Jedi. He actually changed my mind about
we'll come
about
back.
it.
Yeah.
But we'll circle this back up in next couple of months, or less than a year from now.
Maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll see.
Honestly, who knows? I can talk about Star Wars forever. But with that, like Michael said, comment, subscribe, please just say anything about Star Wars. Was my list annoying, or did you agree with it? I want to hear.
What's your ranking? What's your preferred watch order? Whatever kind of comes to you in the Star Wars world. So much for us to answer. I know there's a lot of other things we wanted to talk about, but we'll
get to it next time.
We'll be back so soon.
Real quick, what's your lightsaber color?
Blue.
I think I'm like green, and I want to be so performative and different. I want to be yellow.
Yeah, if we can, like, classic colors, blue. If I can pick, me, green. I'm performative, it's orange.
Okay, cool. Because that's what I love about the Force Awakens, the Cal Kestis games, Fallen Order, and Jedi Survivor. Those games, they let you. I mean, I could have a pink lightsaber. That's awesome.
If you want to get into all the kyber crystals, or there's some even back in the day where like you'd have one that was like, I forget what it was called, but it's like a magma crystal where your sword has like magma coming off of it. It's like, those get bonkers.
Yeah, those bonkers.
The white one's also really cool.
White is awesome. I have white for my Cal. I think he'd have a white lightsaber. But yeah, so you'd be traditional blue.
Traditional blue's me.
I think I'd probably have green.
And this makes sense.
We're talking too much. We're gonna get into this next time. I promise.
We don't want to go like this. Is just,
I know.
I actually have so many other questions I wanted to ask you about. Like,
I know.
I have this fun question I like to ask. So, okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you food for thought. I want your answer next time. And
okay.
Everyone listening, I'd also love to hear from you.
Yeah.
What is your OC Star Wars character? Come up with that. Well, like if you can put yourself into the world of Star Wars, whatever time you want, whatever role, idea, think about that. And let me know.
Okay. I
Y'all have
We'll
homework.
think about it, and I will come back with something written and like.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good. But with that, I hope you guys had a good time listening talk us. Hope you guys had a good time listening to us talk about Star Wars. We absolutely love it. This has been Coasting the Mediaverse. I'm Brian.
And I'm Michael.
And may the Force be with you.
Yes! Yes!
I knew you knew that's what I what
yeah,
you
that's
wanted.
what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
You
Yes!
were, if I didn't say it, you were gonna say it.
Yeah, I was
right?
like, please say it, please say it. Yes!